The No Fate channel checking in with a race review of the Killington Vermont Spartan Beast. First and foremost, I normally don't do race reviews. The OCR Kings were supposed to be at the Spartan Beast. I was hoping to get a glimpse of them as they passed me along the course. They do amazing race reviews, but unfortunately due to an injury they couldn't make today's race, so I'm going to substitute in for them. If you're interested in great race reviews, if you're interested in obstacle course race footage, tactics, gear discussion, definitely check out the OCR Kings. I'm going to link their YouTube page right up here. The Killington Vermont Spartan Beast is an iconic obstacle course race because it is on the side of a ski slope. You in fact actually have to go up and down that ski slope 3 times. Each time the distance is a little bit longer and the incline is a little bit steeper. It culminates in a death march that took me over 30 minutes of, just going straight up. And that's not counting breaks. It was something that, even though it was described to me and I'd seen the photos, I was completely unprepared for. About to go up the death march. I don't know if you can see because of the glare, but way the hell up there is what you think is the top, but it's still not the top. That is the death march and what the Spartan Beast in Killington, Vermont is known for. Here's some perspective. Been walking forever, still not at the top yet. I don't know if you can see the bottom. I can barely make it out from here. Still not at the top. One of the great things about this course and the fact that it's on a ski slope are the views. Certainly the climbs up are brutal, and the downhills are probably even worse in my opinion, just from a safety perspective and the strain on your muscles as you're trying to stabilize as you go down that course. But when you get to that top and you turn around and you're among the clouds and you're looking down and see how far you actually came, it is breathtaking, and it is something you definitely want to be bringing something to take a photo with, or have people there to take a photo of you, because it is just, I can't describe it. It was better, and it was more picturesque than I had ever imagined it was going to be. The course was extremely well laid out. Obviously, they've been doing this race for a number of years at Killington Vermont ski slope, so it's not their first time to the rodeo. They had obstacles grouped in approximately batches of 4, and they were spread out between a half mile to a mile. So it was nice. You hit a few obstacles, you got a little bit of an upper body break, and the obstacles that they did group together weren't all just super intense obstacles. They did mix in some easier ones in between the more difficult ones. Now, the iconic obstacle, besides the death march that isn't even considered one of the obstacles, is the swim and the bridge. So if you're not familiar with Killington, there is a swim. You go to a rope ladder, for lack of a better term, to get to the top of a 5 or 6 rung ladder, and you have to actually traverse 5 wet ropes across the bridge to hit that bell. This is the first time I've ever done it, and it was an obstacle like no other. It was awesome. It was so much fun. And even though the water was freezing, it definitely felt good on my joints by the time I got to it. I No. Come on. No. Come on, one more. Yeah. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. Got it. Let's go. Yeah. Awesome. One more. Bring it. Come on. Come on. Yeah. Also, one of the good things about the way that they spread out the obstacles was that it made it ideal for spectators. So if you did have friends and family coming to visit you and wanted to see as much of the course as possible, again, it was a 14-mile course, so trying to get spectators to all of these parts is difficult. They had a number of obstacles at the start in terms of base camp. So even though you were going up and down the mountain, spectators who didn't want to actually leave that loading zone in the beginning could see you at a number of spots. Also, they had the bridge that I'd mentioned in terms of the water obstacle is another easy spot for spectators to get to. I actually was able to talk to a family who was there to see their husband compete, and they were there to see just that specific event for him, and they were really happy that he was able to ring that bell, and they got it on camera, and they were just so happy of their dad. Also, there is a traverse, a tram, I don't know what you call it, a ski lift for lack of a better term, that will actually take you to the top of the Killington ski slope, so you can watch all of the sad saps walking up over a mile of that ski slope, and you can meet them at the top and congratulate them. And they actually had beer there for the spectators, who were not necessarily taunting us, but it was definitely difficult at the top of that mountain to see them drinking a beer while you still had, or I still had, about 4 or 5 miles of obstacles to go. There were a ton of water stops on the course. I counted at least 5. There were probably closer to 8. 2 of those you could actually refill your hydration packs if you wanted. But keep in mind, those other water stops, you could take as much water as you wanted to drink at the time. I think I stopped at one and had about 6 glasses at one point after I had ended up doing the bucket carry. I was so exhausted. But also there was a stop that they had blocks. I think they're called Cliff gel blocks. They're essentially just sugar candy. But there was one about around mile 8 that you could take as many of those as you wanted. I think I had about 6 or 7 of those. I just couldn't get enough sugar in. I was so exhausted along that 14-mile course. When you finally finish the Spartan Beast in true Spartan race fashion, they load you up with a ton of gear. I got a Fit Aid and 2 body armors to hydrate with. I also got a banana, a protein bar, this awesome shirt behind you. The coloring and the quality is good. In my opinion, it's just a slight step down from the 2017 version that you see me wearing here. Also, you get an awesome medal. Now, this thing is super heavy. You get the medal. Now, this is the Mountain Race Series. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's a really nice medal. I like them better than the Tough Mudder headbands just because they probably have a lot more weight to them and probably something I'm going to hold on to a bit more than that orange headband. Also, you get the trifecta wedge if you are going for your trifecta. Now, in terms of beer, one of the things I liked about the Spartan Beast in Killington was that there wasn't really a beer tent. Normally, sometimes you get a beer in a cup and they just kind of kick you along the way. This actually had a bar. It was a circular bar where you could go in, give them your wristband, get a beer. It was an IPA. It wasn't in a cup. It was actually, they give you the whole can, which is, for some reason for me, I feel like it's a lot nicer than actually getting just a keg cup of random beer. Now, the IPA was delicious, and if you wanted to stay and hang out, grab a seat, you could. It wasn't, again, like a beer tent where they just kind of give you a beer and mosey you on along. The venue itself was a lot bigger than normal Spartan race venues. I thought it was much more spaced out, plenty of places to sit down, tons of places to stretch. They had the music going. It was a really cool place to hang out, whether you were a spectator, whether you were pre or post race, and definitely well laid out, tons of bathrooms and food options as well.
We finished the Spartan Beast here in Killington, Vermont. We did it in 6 hours and 44 minutes, and I only ended up doing 30 burpees. I expected a lot more, and that actually made it for a little bit easier of a time. But that death march definitely took it out of me. Hopefully, this IPA is going to make things feel a little bit better.
If you've run the Killington Beast, whether it was this year or in previous years, I want to know what you think of the course in the comments below. Now, if you're interested in seeing me take on every one of the Killington Vermont Spartan Beast obstacles, then click this link and you are going to see every one of those 30+ obstacles that I took on, including the Death March. If you've come this far in the video, then you definitely know what to do. Give it a like, hit that subscribe button. As usual, thanks for watching, and don't save anything for the trip back.